All right, hey guys, OFD checking in here, and today we have a watch from, I don't know if you guys can even see that, but it's from DIY Watch Club. So they reached out to me, asked me about doing a video on one of their watches, and first thing I'm going to let you guys know is we're going to unbox this. I'm going to pull the stuff out of here, show you what it comes with, and a few of the processes I'll probably show you. I mean, you get the movement. I do have a custom rotor for this one with the, I think it's OFD channel on there. So I have to put the rotor on it, I install the hands, the dial and everything like that. So it is a long process. I think they list like 3 hours. And I'll be honest with you, I've never done any modification to a watch besides putting a crystal on it. And so it's going to take me all of that 3 hours, I'm sure, and then some to just get this done. I'm using the Benchmade mini bug out here for doing this unboxing or taking the stuff out of the packaging here, trying to do it without cutting myself open here. Now there's quite a bit of stuff here that comes in this packaging here, so I'll lay this out. This is obviously one part of it, and then I think what you have is like in one of these packages, yeah, you have the toolkit here. This is the watchmaking toolkit, and I believe this is probably everything for the watch, which feels super, super lightweight. So I'm going to go ahead and get these packages open here. Give me just a second. We'll start laying everything out and see what we have here in the packages. All right, so I've gone ahead and taken off the packaging and whatnot. Now, inside of the bigger box, I have this zipper case. I went ahead and pulled, it was wrapped in plastic and everything. And in the smaller box, I just had these two pieces here. I'm not quite sure what these two pieces are, so we'll open them and kind of look at them as we go through. I'll set those aside for now. But let's go ahead and open this zipper case here and see what we have inside here. Now, I believe this is going to be the toolkits, but it also said something about the watch that I picked out on the outside of the packaging for this. So go ahead and open this up here and see what we have. So, and a lot of this, guys, honestly, is going to be pretty new to me. I'm not super familiar with watches and watch build kits. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. And so it's going to be kind of exciting. So go ahead and just start pulling stuff out of here like this. I have no idea what this actually is. So I'll learn as we go through here. So somebody's probably rolling their eyes on the other end of going, Dunlap, that's this, and I just don't know it. So we've got our strap here. I know what that is. We got a strap. So winner, winner, chicken dinner. I know what that one is. Then over here, we've got some tools here. I believe this is going to be, yeah, this is going to be a little loop so that as you're doing the work, you can clip this onto something and look through it. I do believe maybe you can clip this onto your glasses, maybe something like that. So you get a loop in there. In fact, we'll just go ahead and set these tools out here because I'm going to need to use them, I'm sure, at some point here. What do we have down here? This is your case back tool. I know what that is. So we'll set that aside. And then up here in this one, and forgive me for the wiggling, guys. I don't have a real solid desk that I set up on. I actually have a little tray that this is set on. This is your little tool for, you know, when you want to blow out the case back to make sure there's no dust, or the dial of the watch to make sure there's no dust on there. So they do give you that. So I think what you have in here is a lot of kind of, you know, the basic watch tools you're going to need for assembly. These tools down here, you've got screwdrivers, you've got the tools for kind of moving things around on the dial if you want. You don't want to be using metal or anything like that up against the dial as you're working with it. Not quite sure what these two neat red tools are down here. I like anodized red, so I got to check those out. So that's going to be a spring bar tool. It does appear to be, or that's actually going to be your pry bar, I think, for putting the hands on and off. See that little bar? So you put a little shield on there and you can use this to pry the hands on and off. I'm sure that's necessary in case you get the hands on wrong. I know you have to advance the hour to a certain point, you know, when you're doing, or the date wheel to a certain point. And yeah, this is your other little pry bar. So you can use these in conjunction to pry the hands up off the watch. There's going to be a screwdriver here. What do we have up here in this top one? This is going to be, okay, so this is going to be the finger condoms, her little finger rubber glove pieces. This is your Bergeron, I think it's Bergeron, yeah, piece that goes over the dial. This is when you're applying the hands. This is so you don't scuff up the dial or anything like that. So pieces inside of there. I'll need to get those gloves on here pretty quick. Something else is in here. We have quick release spring bars, it appears, which is nice to have. And then let's go ahead and open these. I think this is where we're really going to get into the meat and potatoes of this one. Now, we have inside of this package, first off, let's go ahead and see what this is. And I got to be careful here. I'm not wearing gloves or anything like that, so I don't want to get anything too dirty. I think this is probably going to be our dial. Now, yeah, this is going to be our dial. I'm not going to pull it out of here because, like I said, I don't want to get anything dirty here. Now, I did pick out, it's funny because Shane from Relative Time and Dave from Just One More Watch They both did the Explorer also. So I've watched their videos recently, and they did the Explorer dial. I do believe this is a sandwich dial, and I think I've got the blue one here. So we'll kind of go through that as we put the watch together. Let's set this aside here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to kind of put this stuff back the way I found it. So as I'm doing the actual assembly, I don't get myself mixed up with anything here. So we're going to have the other parts of the watch here. Each of these little boxes is going to contain, you know, a portion of the watch. Now, maybe I've got two dials here, two different dials, possibly, because this almost appears to be another dial, possibly, for the watch. No, this is not. Oh, this is going to be my handset. Very fine. I got to be careful with this little package here. So this is going to be the handset for the watch. And it looks like, yeah, they give you double handsets, which I think is interesting. I do believe that this is probably one of the points where people mess up. These are very delicate, very small little hands, and I think probably this is one of the more difficult portions to do on the watch. So I will learn as I go through and build this watch. So go ahead and open the other things here. Go ahead and take a quick look at this. And guys, forgive me, this is going to take me a while. I'm sure this is going to be a much longer video than we're used to, especially from me, just because I don't have a lot of the editing software and stuff, but we'll see how it goes. So inside of here, we have the movement. This is the Seiko NH35 movement. This is the one that was available for the Explorer. So set that aside. That's pretty basic, you know, as far as movements go, the SII NH35. And then what I think we're going to have here is the case, and this is all, the case, which is really nice, is all pre-assembled. You don't have to press the crystal in or anything like that. Yeah, so the case is already ready to go here. So we're going to pull it out of here. I don't want to handle too much of this, like I said, just because I don't have on any kind of gloves or the finger condoms or anything. But you can see here it's got stickers on it, so I'm not going to hurt it. Not going to leave any fingerprints. The crown is installed in the watch. The chapter ring is installed in the watch. But so that's kind of what you get when you get one of these kits here. And build time, like I said, on these guys is right around 3 hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera here, guys, and I'm going to start in on this and see how far I can get. I'll go ahead and probably a couple times throughout the video post some portions of me putting something together. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting process, and then I'll show the watch at the end of the video. What I'll probably do also is wear the watch for about a week and then do kind of a follow-up on the DIY watch and how it's working for me. So, all right, guys, we'll catch you in a little bit. So one thing I want to show you guys here really quickly before I get started is it did come with this paperwork inside of here, and it did have this little leather pad here, so when I get started building it, I'll have this little pad to work on. I don't think they had that in some of the other kits, and Shane mentioned that, but if you want to scan this little thing here, this will take you to the video for the actual DIY Watch Club video and how to do that. I'm sure that will actually work for you, so you guys can check it out. So, all right, catch you guys on the rebound here. All right, so I wanted to show you guys, I've gotten the case back off, taken that off. Whenever you take the case back off the case, anything like this, you want to leave this stuff setting with the open side down so that no dust collects in there or anything like that. With the NH35, this one also has the chapter ring. I do believe it's a spacer. There's also this little spacer ring that came in there. So getting ready to look at the movement video on how to put the hands onto the movement here and everything like that. Actually, I need to put the dial on here first, and then I'll put the hands on there. Once I get that done, I'll go ahead and show that to you again. Once I've got those installed, it takes a lot of patience, so I don't really have the ability to film this as I do it, but I will show you guys after I finish that process. All right, so here's where we're at, guys. I'm about 40 minutes in, and I've been able to install the dial. As you can see here, it's a two-piece dial because it does have a, it's a sandwich dial here, so there's the loomed layer underneath. So you do have two pieces there. You have to line up the feet for that dial to the NH35 movement. I've also gotten to the point where I've installed the hour and the minute hand. The hour hand wasn't too bad. The minute hand wasn't too bad. I'm not quite sure right now if I have the minute hand all the way down, but I started to install the second hand, and that is a real bear. It's something that actually I need to stop because I'm starting to lose my patience trying to get it on there. It's very small. You have a post that comes up here to ride the second hand. If you damage that post, you irreversibly damage the movement. And so it even says, like, when you start the video, that link that I provided below, by the way, in the last segment that I had there, you're probably not going to be able to follow that because that is for a registered buyer to be able to follow the video instructions on how to build the watch. So you have to have bought the watch to be able to follow those. But anyways, it does say, you know, before you start this, it's like the secondhand process is one of the hardest processes in there. I've already screwed it up once. I tried to put it on there. It wasn't on right. It was moving with the minute hand when I was trying to move it. And then when I was removing it, it flipped off and fell on the floor, and I rolled over it with my chair leg. So good thing they give you extra hands to do this process. But, you know going into this, guys, it's not a super simple process. You are going to have to take some time. You're going to have patience. And you're going to need to really have a few hours or time more than that if you need to take some rest breaks or stop breaks to just kind of get your mind back about it. So watchmaking is a delicate process, guys. So I'll go ahead and show you more as I move through this process. Okay, guys, so I got the second hand mounted on the watch. I will be honest with you, I destroyed the first hand. I'm glad they give you multiple sets because in the process of trying to get this second hand on there, I accidentally flung it off, and when I was trying to move my chair back to find it, I ran over it with the chair and smushed it. So this was really, really difficult. I have to tell you guys, it took me at least 30 to 40 minutes. I'm not super steady. I'm a little trembly when I'm doing certain things, and this is a very, very small part. I did have to go from the loop and actually put on my goggles to be able to actually see how small that pin is, that stud for that second hand there. Now, I did just notice that it stopped, so I need to verify that I don't have something catching there on that second hand, but definitely one of the most difficult parts I've done. I did go ahead and get the chapter ring and that washer installed back in there. So let me go ahead and check out this movement before I put the rest of the watch together. Let me just make sure I haven't got something catching here on this minute hand. I think maybe I've got something catching here, and that's why it possibly stopped. So very delicate work. The second hand on the watch is super, super fine. Very, very easy to bend. So you just have to be extremely careful with that process. So let me work on it some more, and hopefully here in a second we can show you guys the finished product. So I'm getting ready to button it up here, but I wanted to show you a couple other things that I'm going to be doing to this watch before I'm completely done with it. So they did give me a custom rotor, and as you guys can see there, it says the OFD watch channel. So we're going to go ahead and replace the rotor here on the watch. I'll go ahead and show that here. One of the things I wanted to bring up here and show you guys really quick is just before you actually finish and start putting the watch the movement and stuff in there, just check everything on your movement. So when you actually put your hands on, you're going to want to make sure this is just flipped over to 12 o'clock so that when you install your hands, let me go ahead and get this. It's focusing on everything in the background here. But see, you just want to make sure your hands are lining up nicely. So I went ahead and made sure my hands are lining up at all hours nicely. Very important thing to do as you're going through there with the watch. So it just flipped over again to midnight, so no big deal. But definitely something you want to check. Make sure your hand alignment's working. Make sure that your hands sweep all the way around just fine. You can see my second hand is now sweeping just fine. I did have to bend it a little bit just because the installation process is, for a part so small, it seems pretty brutal the way you have to put it in there and make sure you're not bending that second hand pin that comes up between the hands. So, but anyways, wanted to show you those two things. Here's the hand that I actually ran over. You can see it's got a little sweep to it where it bent and stuff. But I'm going to go ahead. I've already blown out the case parts. I'm going to blow off the dial and go ahead and throw the case and the dial all together and then show you that. Once I get the the movement inside of the case, we'll go ahead and I'll unscrew the rotor and put the new rotor on. And then once I'm done with that, we'll button it all up and show you the finished product. All right, guys, so here it is. Here's the finished product. This took me quite a bit longer than I thought it would. I probably spent at least 2.5 to 3 hours working on this. Went ahead and put it together. I did have to take it apart a couple of the other times to straighten out the hands because I was getting drag on the second hand. But overall, the watch came out really nice. I love the looks of this watch. It has a really nice sandwich dial. As a matter of fact, I'm going to kill the lights here in just a second, and we'll check out the lume on this dial. The strap that it came on, I got to admit, this is almost like an afterthought. I don't even know how this strap is really going to work, to be honest with you. I've tried to do some adjusting with it, and it really almost doesn't fit my wrist because of the distance that you have. I mean, that's all you can get the watch on. There's just something off about the strap. So I'll throw it on a different NATO strap. I wish the strap would work because I really like this color, but it's extremely short. I have a 7-inch wrist, and it almost feels way too small for my 7-inch wrist, but guess that's the way it is. But one thing I did want to show you guys is I did get the custom rotor put on it, which was fairly simple. Did have to put the watch, take it apart. You can see right there, the OFD watch channel. So you can have that custom done. You can have whatever you want put on their name or whatever else. I think it's around $50. So all told, this kit, guys, is around $400. So do you want to build a watch yourself for $400? It is fun. It's entertaining. I think if you're into building things and making things yourself, it is a fun way to go to try it out. Because I'm doing it for a video, I probably was losing patience a little bit more because I'm really worried about how it comes out, making sure that I do it right. I don't break anything since I'm doing it for the DIY Watch Club. I want to make sure it works out good. But so far, everything looks good on this. I'm going to dim the lights and show you guys the lume. And then probably in a week or two or something like that, we'll revisit this watch and I'll tell you how it's running after I got it put together and everything like that. One of the other things I wanted to note with this one was I picked out this model because it said it had a sapphire crystal. I'm not sure if that's a sapphire coated mineral crystal or really what that is, but let's go ahead and dim the lights and check out the lume on this dial. Well, that's satisfying. I dimmed the lights and the watch is already glowing. So just hit it with a little bit of lume here and show you. I did notice on that sandwich dial, on that bottom part of the dial, there was a ton of lume on there. So no surprise whatsoever. This thing is really glowing. So give me a week with the DIY watch. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say that, but give me a week with this thing, guys, and I will go ahead and do a full review, kind of telling you a little bit more about this DIY. What is the part number on this thing? The WC003. This is one of the Explorers. They have a number of different colorways, dial colors and stuff. I picked the blue one because I'm a Dodgers fan. So, all right, guys, you like the video, give me a thumbs up down there at the bottom. And if you've not subscribed to the OFD channel yet, please do. Please do. Thanks, guys.